road as it naturally is. I mean, you can see where some people have driven up through here, but this has not been altered by my brother at all. So we're getting about halfway up the ridge. And is it hot and hard to do? Yeah, look at my face. For one thing, the altitude kind of takes your breath away. Plus it's a climb. Plus you've been on mud. And it can take it out of you. I'm gonna take a minute or two for my subscribers who are from lots of other places rather than here in western North Carolina, and just talk about what it's like to grow up here. Well, it's great. We moved up here in my life when I was like 5 and a half, something like that. Dad had been working in Charlotte, and Mom and Dad are both from up here. And so this was my great-grandfather's land, at least a portion where my dad's house is now and all that. So that's how we ended up back in Little Switzerland. Dad grew up in an area called Chestnut Grove. When we moved here, I just thought it was magical. These hills, I was all over these hills and all these woods, nearby valleys, anywhere I could get away from everything. I'm gonna kind of walk you down here. This is a little, kind of a slid off place. The mountain goes on, I don't know if it's slid off. It looks like it's the kind of a little flat spot where you'd build a castle if you were to clean the trees off. I always thought this would be a cool place to build a house. Looking at this area from the meadow a while ago. But what was it like to grow up here? It's quiet, it's secluded, a lot of solitude. Birds, deer, raccoons, possums, squirrels, snakes. Lots of things to fascinate a young boy. Good fishing in the creeks. So I'm actually going down now, which is kind of cool, but not down the old road. This is a road, like I said, it goes out to sort of a little flat piece of land, a little plateau or something, I guess you'd call it down here. I haven't been down here in a while. We'll see what it looks like when we get to the edge. It falls off steeply here in a minute. But I loved it, you know. I loved being able to throw knives and hatchets and stuff into trees, rolling rocks off the mountains as long as you knew there was nobody below you. Fishing, camping, exploring. Like I say, a lot to inspire you if you're an artist, if you like to draw and paint. And it's a lot of this really excellent nature up in here. And the Appalachian Mountains are so nice. The people up here are pretty nice, they really are. I don't know anybody that I didn't particularly like growing up. And people are just nice to each other because, I guess, the Christian heritage. Most of the Scott-Irish folks up here are pretty devout people. There are some heathens. And you know, everybody's usually packing too. So if you know everybody's got a gun, everybody's nice to each other, and crime rates are really low. And you know, I know that's a controversial thing to say, but you know, I never hear of anybody going crazy and shooting anybody up here. Everybody's just always very nice to each other. So we've kind of flattened out here, I'm gonna be going up just a little bit. Down here on this end is where I always thought was just a beautiful place, where you could build a house. I've got 40 minutes of battery left here. So I grew up here from the time I was about 5 and a half till the time I was in college, and I came back a lot on the weekends and stuff. I went to Mars Hill College out in Madison County, which is a couple of counties over, headed back toward Asheville, just a little bit north of Asheville. So I spent a lot of time in Asheville during the college years and did my internship there for a television station, Channel 13. Worked in the promotion department. I was an English communications major, and so that worked out really well for me. And for what I do today is doing video and graphics. That's kind of the start of it, I guess. But anyway, I also worked up here for a place called Mayland Community College after I got out of college. I worked about 3 years, 2 months doing that in personnel. This was always my favorite place. I'll kind of pan slowly around it, see what y'all think. I don't know. This place to me always just seemed like some place a Robin Hood, Peter Pan kind of kid, like I was when I was a kid, would want to grow up and live. Clear some of those trees out there and put a nice cabin. That was always my dream. Don't know if that'll ever happen or not, but it's a cool dream. Life's nice in Valdez where I live now. You got trillium and stuff up here, all kinds of different, mountain type flowers. I'm not going to pretend that I know what they all are. I know my maples and poplars and sassafrases and black gums and pines and oaks and the things with hickory and stuff that I need to know from a tree point of view, but not so much about the vegetation that grows on the ground. It's a cool little area through here. So you've got this whole little area here, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 acres that's just flat, and you're up on the side of a mountain. I'm probably, I don't know, 250 feet or so higher, maybe 200 feet higher than where my mom and dad live. And probably as the bird flies 400 yards, 500 yards away from them. And there's nothing. This backside back here behind us is nothing. The Blue Ridge Parkway, and then you've got like miles of absolute nothing because it's just steep and rugged. It goes back down toward the McDowell County Marion watershed and Lake Tahoma. Appalachia is not what you think it is. I mean, maybe some parts of it are. To me, I'll turn this on myself for a minute. The people I grew up with, it's not hillbillies. I guess you could call us that. We talk kind of funny. We have a different sort of accent. What you're listening to now is the sort of Scot-Irish, flat Southern accent. It's not really a Southern accent like what you hear Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara say. It's way removed from Charleston or even Raleigh or Chapel Hill or Durham, that whole area down in there. Matter of fact, you go to the foot of the mountain, totally different accent, and more what I would think is the traditional Southern accent. I guess maybe we retain some sort of a form of Scottish and Irish sort of inflection. I don't know. I don't know how it came about. But yeah, the hillbillies up here are very smart, resourceful people. You can't live up here and not be fairly sharp. I mean, well, I guess you can. I know some people that aren't too particularly sharp, but what I mean by that is survival up here requires you to have skills to figure out how to make a living in a place that's tough to make a living, to stay warm and fed in a place where it's hard to find work and where the winters are tough. Up here, I always kind of tell people, if you could live 6 months out of the year in the Appalachian Highlands, that would be heaven. If I could live here from the middle of May till maybe early November, then after that, you want to get off the hill. And so I love being out down in the flatlands for those winter months. My goodness, you don't have the cool woods and things like this down in the flatlands. And right now, here on June the 8th, I'm guessing it's maybe 68 degrees here. Feels fantastic. And very seldom up here do you ever have to use air conditioning. I know I'm moving the camera around a lot. This area is a place where faith is very important to people, and so you do have a lot of devout people, mostly Baptists, some Pentecostals, some Methodists, Presbyterians. It's mostly that though, Protestant type folks. And they work hard. I think the Appalachian people, for the most part, are super hard working people. Pretty little area right here too. I always like the way this tree over here kind of grows atop the rock. So yeah, I had a guy recently send me an email wanting to know if there's a possibility of having a reality show with the folks up here. You know, I don't think we're your Duck Dynasty type. We're a little more highbrow hillbillies maybe. But I tell you what, there are crazy characters here. Very, very interesting people. So yeah, there does probably need to be a reality show based on this crazy cool area. I like that. See, that's the kind of thing that makes me want to draw and paint. Something real cool. Look how that rock is like encrusted into. It's been picked up by that tree. It's growing out of it now. Pretty moss. Gorgeous little delicate flowers and stuff all over the place. I need to come up here and do a little documentary or something. So yeah, I'm headed up toward the top of the mountain. As I climb a little higher, I get a little closer to the parkway, Blue Ridge Parkway all the time. The parkway borders this land. Pretty much all of Dad's land. It's too bad you can't pull a road straight off the parkway. You hear that? That's a motorcycle on the parkway right up through that way. There are a lot of dead trees now. I think it's good Tim's coming through and kind of weeding some of them out. Old forest here though.